Vibe coding's dead. We gotta upgrade here.
Damn it! First nano banana, now vibe coding. What's going on? I'm Dave Chapman.
I'm Rob Kernahan.
And this is Realities Remixed Live, an original podcast from Capgemini, and this week co-sponsored by Google. And we are live for the last time this week at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas for Google Cloud Next 2026. And joining us for the last time this week is the roving reporter, Rachel Belmonte.
Hi, last day.
Are you sad?
A little bit, yeah. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed
Flown by,
podcasting.
hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
I see tears.
Yeah.
Oh, my eyes are watering. I'm a good actress.
You're just trying to ingratiate yourself. Yeah, so how's it been?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm tired now. I'm very tired. It's been early starts, late evenings. There's just so much going on, packing the day with so much activity. But yeah, it's been a great experience.
You get tired when you put effort in.
But that doesn't happen very often for you, does it?
No,
Except for one thing, though.
What?
His travel plans.
Now you're right like a bat bridge.
Look, just because you two are like all lackadaisical about border controls and boarding passes and, visas.
Four S's on a boarding card.
4 S's on a boarding card, exactly.
The funny thing about this, though, is we'd said this to Rachel. I think you thought we were just ragging on Rob until you got to experience it firsthand.
I did experience firsthand, yeah. When I got to the airport, and don't get me wrong, I was a little early as well. I was a bit worried about the motorway, a bit worried about traffic. Rob, were you there like 5 or 6 hours before the flight? I think you were.
No, 4. It was 4.
No, I don't think it was. No, it was. You're not even looking at me. You
4.
can't look at me in the eye right now.
No, I can't. Well, you don't want to look at me in the eye at the moment, do you? Know what's happened?
Too scary. But
too scary.
The funny thing about this is, amongst many things, so Rob turned up to the airport exceptionally early because he, yet again, got security checked. He is absolutely being monitored. There's no... I do not know why, but that's definitely
it's
a
random,
thing.
Dave. It's very clear it's random.
But so then he goes, I'm going to have to go to the airport early to sort this out. It's like, but that is why you go to the airport normally early. You're already 2 hours early. So what you did is you said, the 2 hours that I've been asked to do that are for things like that are not going to be sufficient. So therefore, I'm going to go 2 hours before the 2 hours that I have to go. That was it, right?
I am comfortable with sitting in an airport, relaxing. I'm all good with it. It's fine. It's fine. You see, I know, prepared, happy, sorted, ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll.
It is the future, David. One day you're gonna need something printed out, and you're gonna regret. It's gonna be regret.
Well, I did a bit of research on this because I'm a bit concerned about it, and it is actually a condition.
Is it?
It is actually a condition.
Wow.
It is no formal medical diagnosis named in inverted commas OCD traveling, but there is something informal called obsessive compulsive traveling disorder, which describes the compulsive need to research, plan, and check every detail of a trip to reduce uncertainty and avoid negative surprises.
When you're there, but I don't have to do that. I'm happy riffing when I'm there.
Yeah.
And
but isn't that because you've created your safe space?
It's the buffer either side about it. Just make sure the travel works, and then what we do in the middle's fine. I don't struggle with a bit in the middle. It's just making sure that I don't miss a flight. Missing a flight for me would be catastrophic. I mean, imagine if you missed a flight because you misread the time on a boarding card. That would be pretty bad, wouldn't it, Dave?
I mean, I can't imagine that ever happening, Rob.
No, I can't imagine that somebody would get the time wrong because they misread something and turn up at the airport as the flight was taken off.
And when they specifically thought they were doing everything they needed to do and had left in really good time for that time.
You see, if you'd been with me, that wouldn't have happened.
I wouldn't have happened.
No.
Because 6 weeks earlier, you would have said, have you checked your check-in time?
Exactly.
You don't
want to miss things like that.
No, exactly. Well, look, there we go. You made it. And you're going home tonight, so,
yes.
are you all set?
I am. I'm packed, ready to go.
Checked in?
I am checked. It was all done.
You even got a boarding card this time?
I've got a little time in my diary that tells me when I've got to get me taxi to Harry Reid.
6 hours before the flight.
6. I can't because Dave keeps me recording. It's not fair.
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid
So there you go. You admitted it. You would if you could.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, though, do you want to sit in a casino hotel waiting, or do you want to sit in an airport lounge waiting? And I'm like, you know what? I know where I'll get a better internet connection and a bit of food and maybe a cheeky pint.
On that note, let's do last bit of news from the show floor for the week, right? Have you saved the best to last?
Possibly, yes, I think. Data. Agentic data clouds. That was one of the...
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, it is. But it was one of the, get ready for it, the Agentic Enterprise Blueprint offerings. Yeah. And, wait for it, have you got a drum roll?
No, that's the laughing.
No.
That's the clapping.
No.
That's a joke. So we won't do that one.
I think no.
I think no. Got an air horn, though. So.
Yeah.
Borderless data.
Borderless data?
Borderless data.
Is that like when you get your A4 pad and there's no ruled line on it? And you just don't, there's no margins?
So basically a white piece of paper.
Yeah.
So what is it? And how do you get utility out of it?
Okay, well, look, I will kind of go back a little bit to the agentic data cloud, because that's quite important just to, start things off. So what Google have announced is basically turning static data into agent-ready knowledge. Okay, so this is all about locating and enriching data. So straight away, boom, you can start, running AI, building your agents without kind of any interference. So they've created something called the knowledge catalog. And so that automatically maps your business logic and metadata. Then they've expanded that to introduce smart storage. So that automatically tags, enriches unstructured data the moment it is uploaded. So already just think about the speed. The speed is massive.
That's really important. So if you can tag in a data taxonomy, the important fields to calculate, annual report or whatever, that's bringing semantic understanding to the data under the hood. So the agent knows where to go to get the right data to be able to achieve the result.
And it is there available.
So they've not called it a semantic layer, but it technically is enabling semantic understanding.
Yes, it is, but it's also data access by the sounds of it.
If you just send an agent in without any understanding of the data set, it'll infer and it might get it right, might not. Accuracy low. If you give it semantic understanding of the data set and it knows where to go to get the items to be able to calculate your request, you get a much more accurate result.
Yes. They've also introduced the Lightning engine for Apache Spark. So that's, to your point, improving performance and improvement for massive data processing as well. But the borderless piece, which I mentioned at the very, very beginning, was they have announced the ability to activate data across clouds. This is pretty big. So they've called it cross-cloud lakehouse. So that is zero egress, like low latency connectivity to AWS and Azure.
That's highly significant.
This is big.
Doesn't matter where your data is.
No.
Just get at it.
Use the tool set.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. So now, a fangirl moment. Yasmin Ahmed did a piece and a demo during the keynote, and she put a timer on screen of 5 minutes. And within that 5 minutes, she managed to use agents to review data across AWS in Iceberg and GCP BigQuery. And she did the whole thing in 5 minutes. That would have taken days. Days.
It's sort of like radical change in laborious activities, isn't it? It's literally getting rid of all the toil associated with the data complexity, which is quite important because it means that you can go and get on with what you need to.
All right.
Which has always been a classic thing for cloud, isn't it? Get rid of toil, but they're doing it now at a much more significant moment in the layers.
Well, let's talk about some of the industry application of that. I agree. It feels significant and very impactful. And I'm delighted to say that we have Cliff Krimmel, who is the head of customer engineering in the financial services sector for Google. Cliff, good to see you. Thanks for making time.
Thanks so much for having me.
Busy week, I assume.
It's a lot of fun, very tiring, but a lot of excitement.
Have you done a step count?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home next week and miss all of my goals.
Yeah, it's good to throw your data.
I'm consistently hitting my step goal by 12:30 this week, so I'm very optimistic about it.
Yeah, but it is just going to skew the data for the rest of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, the next couple of weeks there's going to be a readjustment period for sure.
It's like sometimes when you land that one big deal in Q2 or something like that, and then for the next couple of years you're underperforming because you had a bluebird deal in Q2. It's like annoying stuff that I think.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, so first of all, thanks for joining us. And I think what we want to try and talk to you about is an engineering perspective on what we're hearing at the moment. So we were lucky enough to have one of your colleagues on an earlier show where we had the perspective of a designer and a creative on what's going on. And we'd love to explore with you an engineer's perspective. But before we get into that, let's give us a sense of your background and how you got to here.
So I've been with Google for 6 years. I transitioned over to lead our banking customer engineering team about 6 weeks ago. So new to role, but not new to banking.
Congrats.
Thank you. I've been working with large financial institutions since around 2012 in a slightly different scope and nature, but I've been in the broader IT industry for over 20 years. My background, I graduated from Rensselaer Polytech in 2004. IT back then was teach you a little bit of everything. So I'm not kidding when I say that. I took computer analog, networking, and operating systems, but I also took visual communication and calligraphy and ethics and law. So
wow. Okay.
It's worked very well for me because it's made me a jack of all trades, and I continue to find myself in situations where I can leverage that strong and broad foundation to go wide. But when we get to a specific area, I can go deep very quickly. The thing I joke with my team is I've learned and unlearned Python at least 5 times in my career.
Well, I think I think you make an important point, which is often forgotten in technical disciplines, which is that, you know, there's a 360 view that you should take on these things that gives it richness. I think it brings it creativity, maybe more of a human-centric perspective. And I wonder then when you take a view as like an engineering background, first of all, set out for us what the toolkit is from Google at the moment that's helping developer productivity, developer uplift. What does that look like, and what specifically out of this week has caught your eye?
Specifically this week, I was speaking with a colleague earlier this morning. Right, a lot of people that give motivational speeches will talk about sales and this world as you're summiting a peak. The thing I pointed out this morning is we're summiting a peak that is growing at an exponential rate, and the tools that we're climbing the mountain with change every 12 to 24 hours, right? So it makes it very challenging. So the toolkit that we have available to us at Google looks a little different from the ones that our clients are exposed to, because we're getting access to a lot of the internal tools that we are testing for our own purposes, right? So it's really exciting. The challenge that comes with that is that we kind of get used to that access and we forget about how amazing some of those things are. One of the things that our clients ask us about all the time is, well, how is Google using AI? We forget that we're a leader because we're so exposed to it.
Right.
So for me, it can be our internal anti-gravity tooling. It can be straight up visual code with Gemini Code Assist. It can be Gemini CLI. There's a whole other slew of solutions that are available internally. So it's really a mixture of finding the right tools and the skills for the right situation. And that's the big thing that excited me today is you're seeing more solidifying around that stack and that tooling. You're bringing all of those components closer together.
I was going to say, are you almost like sort of simplifying it? That's how it's sort of coming across, especially to a customer as well. So when we were looking or watching the keynotes, even going around to the expo hall and you're trying it out, it's this simplification that you're almost, dare I say, kind of pushing to customers and then subsequently to their engineering teams to be like, well, how good is this? Or how good is it even to you, marketer, to start doing this now?
I'm at the right company at the right time for sure, right? And that's the reason I'm so passionate about Google's approach to this is that they're bringing those tools closer, they're making them more accessible, and we're creating an open ecosystem because we know that the tools are changing. So giving our clients the ability to change tools in that overall platform that they're creating quickly and effectively, right? Like LLMs are changing every 3 to 6 months. Who's the best now?
Right.
Which LLM do you want to use for the right use case? Things like that.
Is that quite a hard thing to do though with a customer? Because if things are changing all the time, to your point, trying to steer them into the right engineering tools, how do you do that?
From a regulatory perspective, they're very challenging, right? The large financial institutions, there's a lot of exposure associated with that. So they have to do a lot of testing to ensure that it's going to, with the right inputs, it creates the right outputs. But if they have the right foundation in place, making those changes systematically is not tremendous lifting, right? It's some organizations are further along in that journey. I was working with a couple financial services clients 3 years ago that were building out that type of platform. Some are just starting to get to that point, right? But the point being is that the full stack approach that Google takes allows us to meet our clients where they are today, but provide that depth so they can go deeper as they continue to learn and leverage AI for their business and their clients.
And as an engineer, we'll probably come back to some of the client cases in a second, particularly some of the constraints around regulation that you just touched on. But before we get there, I want to go a level deeper on the engineering experience and what it might mean to an engineer. So with Kulan in the previous episode, we had a good conversation about what it meant as a designer to begin to start to use these tools. And it doesn't do her job for her, but what it does is it kind of elevates what she's doing and gets her there faster, upon which she can then create more. I think she made quite a powerful argument from, moving from painting to capture images to the camera to capture images. It didn't, we still do painting, and actually it's still an extremely interesting art form in its own right. I wonder if there's a read across from that in the world of engineering, and maybe what was considered the thing that you were passionate about before with coding has now been replaced by something else, but it elevates you to do something different.
There's a lot of libraries, frameworks, different programming languages, right? It enables me as an engineer to pick the right platform without having to be necessarily an expert in it. Right. And it's accelerating our development cycle. When we were chatting before the show, one of the things I mentioned to you is that I'm telling my team, don't talk about what we can do, show them what we can do. A really powerful demonstration or prototype. We're rapid prototyping in 2 hours, 3 hours. I ran an EBC in February with a financial services organization. We had 7 slides and 5 demos. We didn't make it through the demos because there was so much conversation coming out of that. Right. So showing them the power and the impact that AI can have from an engineering perspective to go and test these ideas. Previously, it was weeks, if not months, to do a rapid prototype. Now it's a few hours, right? Fail fast, move on, change angles, change approach. Right. Find that spot where it fits and you're not wasting a ton of resource and personnel time.
Well, it's just cost, isn't it? It's just a reduction of cost as well by you being able to do those proof of concepts.
Exactly.
One of the core aspects of I think the new developer stack and what it brings is the much talked about vibe coding, which I believe has now got a much more grown up name.
Yeah, enterprise agentic development.
Enterprise agentic development.
We're trying to put some lipstick on the pig.
Very good. Very good.
As we were joking, right? You log into your city wealth management app. You don't want to hear this was vibe coded. It doesn't give people confidence, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a fun term, but
it gives a sense of informality, doesn't it? Which may not be true to what the actual, to what's actually going on there. Exactly. But I wonder what your take on vibe coding is, and about its precision and accuracy.
I think it can be mixed, right? I've had very good experiences, quote unquote, vibe coding. I've also had some very poor experiences. I think it requires mastery of the tool and understanding of its capabilities to use it in an appropriate way. I have gotten better at it, but I haven't perfected that skill set, right? Time is only a finite resource.
Sure.
But we're seeing continued advancement in the stack and the way that our models are reasoning and providing context so that it's helping me learn by me not necessarily having to learn. It's pointing me towards solutions rather than more problems. But like I said, I've had very positive experiences over the last 6 months, and I've had challenging scenarios.
Right. Yes.
But it's holistically gotten better, right? Like I'm an advocate for appropriate process and tooling to support our teams in the way that we support our clients. And there's always gaps in the tooling, especially in an organization as large as Google. You can't hit every use case. I've done vibe coding to create solutions that hang off the side of our tools and processes to enable my team to get to the things they need to fix or do quicker, so they can go back to what really is impactful, is spending time with our clients. Focusing on their needs. How are we going to help show the value in our partnership to their business and to their clients?
Yeah, it allows a focus on like client-centric problem solving rather than sort of the technical bits and bytes of it.
Exactly, right? Like Salesforce is in every major organization in the world. My clients aren't feeling the impact of my customer engineers uploading opportunities and other information into Salesforce. It's the time we spend with them, both in a boardroom and outside of a boardroom, to help them solve the problems and the pains that they're feeling from a business perspective.
Now, you touched on this actually a couple of times, and I now want to go back to that world of when vibe coding meets regulated industry. So maybe set up a little bit for us about some of the constraints of operating and developing within a regulated industry.
5 weeks in, I can't even imagine the challenges, right? But in the short while I've been here, I have gotten insight into some of those processes and some of the delays that are brought on by that. And I fully understand the challenges of these organizations. The conversations that we're starting to have now is, why aren't we applying AI and agentic tooling to help us move through those security reviews and all the other things that these organizations need to do faster? Google is definitely applying it to those internal policies, right? How can we look at the software development lifecycle of these organizations so that we're doing continuous testing on code bases, automatically remediating issues, doing quality assurance and line of business testing as a part of that process? How can we turn the chief information officers or chief CISOs, essentially, sorry, can't find the words today. How can we make them the champions of innovation, right? That's the thing these organizations are struggling with, is they're going to AI to help them move faster, but security is paramount to the success of their business and their clients. You can't, there's so much at risk from a reputation standpoint that they have to do it. So how can we apply AI to that to move it forward faster?
And what kind of concerns are customers coming to the table with around this stuff? So I can imagine that, like every organization, that they're interested in the speed, they're interested in the productivity gain they're going to get, whether that's cost savings or time to market or whatever it might be. But what are they coming to the table with in terms of, like, oh, I don't know how we're going to solve for this problem?
What are they coming to the table with? How do we solve for it? We all saw the City Sky announcements yesterday, right?
Tell us a little bit about them.
I've only been with the team 5 weeks, but I've spent an enormous amount of time collaborating with the city team on it. It's been a very amazing partnership, to summarize it quickly. The thing that I'm most excited about by that partnership is that organizations are looking at their customer engagement model and thinking about, how can we do this better with AI when it relates to text? Oh, let's go to the next level and let's talk about audio. We added a third dimension to the way that organizations can engage with their clients now, right? And it gives them the ability to decide. I think also Joe Bonanno and Andy Sieg mentioned it yesterday on stages. Some people, when they're talking to an advisor to their personal lives or to their business, they don't feel comfortable asking certain questions. They don't want to come across as not informed on a subject. AI removes that barrier, right? Google helped remove that barrier when it comes to finding information on the internet, and AI has up-leveled that to another extreme.
But also enabled, though, in that case, the customization for that scenario and that particular customer was pretty special, that you could still achieve that in that small period of time of development as well. And it's kind of it's just those sort of nuances, I suppose, with each customer is what, it's not saying that we're just kind of doing AI and we're doing this of the same use case and it's repeated across all these different customers in the same industry. You can really kind of delve deeper into that customer-centric value that you're trying to get and draw it out even more with your teams.
Exactly. Like, one of the things that I talked to a couple organizations I worked with a few years ago when AI was really starting to gain momentum and organizations were like, hey, this is something we need to spend time with, is I have NerdWallet on my phone. Right. And before this big presentation I got a notification that popped up, and it was the most generic notification you've ever seen. And it occurred to me in that moment, is like, they just wasted my time. Right. How can we use AI to hyper personalize the information? Because organizations realize that when they send you those notifications, they're consuming your attention and time is finite. Right. We only have so many hours to spend with family, with friends, with our children, getting things done. That 30 seconds is important to me.
Notifications in particular actually is one of my bugbears about digital life. Like, actually, just purely personal perspective, I would struggle with having a watch that was notifying me of things on an ongoing basis. Because I think not only, frankly, I agree with you, are some of the notifications superfluous in a lot of ways, or they're just unbelievably distracting. And worse, they can be anxiety rising. So you could be in a situation where you're going to do a presentation like you described. You suddenly get like this slightly misinformed and mangled notification that you can't deal with in the moment, but now is playing in your head. It's just standing on stage.
You're right. It's like how it's doing it. You're standing on stage and all of a sudden you get, like, I don't know, a message from a family member and you think, oh gosh, has actually something happened? You just don't know.
Exactly. Right. And that's the power of AI, and what Citi was talking about with the introduction of Sky is hyper-personalized, right? these tools and solutions should be given the context so they understand what's important to me. My phone knows that I don't care about New York Times notifications at 2:30 in the afternoon. They know that I'm busy at work, right? But it's 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock when my kids are asleep, then I might pay a little bit more attention. So getting me the information that interests me at that time, like for City Sky, it's, Cliff cares about XYZ that happened in the market because that's a part of his portfolio. I'm not going to bore him with what happened in these other areas.
Right.
You know what's going to be really, really interesting is with the Apple partnership well, actually it was announced, and the growth of that partnership, as was mentioned, how this sort of thing with notifications could impact, the rest of that kind of Gemini and AI product suite that obviously Apple are putting onto their own devices. So that's going to get quite interesting, I think.
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. I'm excited. I don't tell anybody. I work at Google and I have an Apple phone. I regret it. My wife likes the blue bubbles.
Your secret is safe with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited to see what that is and where it goes. I know our technology firsthand. I know it's top in class. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for sure.
Very cool. I wonder if we do a little bit of future gazing. So obviously there's an immense amount of stuff that's happened over the course of the last week, as there always is at these conferences. And we're reflecting in one of the earlier shows this week, an actual material move on from the 2025 position to the 2026 position in terms of productization, scaling, a completion of product suites.
Yep.
Very, very notable movement. When you look at the financial services industry or banking specifically, I'm going to say over the next 5 years, that might be a little bit too far out given how fast everything's moving, but pick your own time frame. Are you anticipating any significant shifts in terms of the industry design itself and, what it might be reimagined as? That's a big old question. I recognize that's like asking someone to write a PhD because, as well as crystal ball gazing at the same time.
Yeah, I think I wish I could give you a good prediction on what that looks like.
Yeah,
I really wish. There's just so much happening in the world as it relates to AI. I think that we're looking at AI and adopting it as rapidly as we can, but I think eventually organizations are going to have to start making a decision about the experience that their clients want. Do they want to call my branch and talk to a human, or do they want to talk with an avatar, right?
Right.
I think from a productivity and gains, we're talking about the ability for these organizations to scale without having to hire tens of thousands of people to do so. A lot of CIOs, CTOs, COOs that I talk to saying, AI isn't going to replace people. It's going to help them do their jobs more effectively. I can bring in somebody that's earlier in their career, but they can operate at a mid-level of expertise just by giving them the appropriate tools. I think it means the expansion of products and services, a refinement of the tools and services they get, right? So data will get better. The insights will continue to improve. They're going to provide a better service to their clients, which is going to create more opportunity for their business. So yeah, I don't think the world is fundamentally going to flip on its side and turn sideways, so to speak. But I think there are a lot of things that create a lot of questions, right? The Mythos stuff that came out from Anthropic last week.
Right.
A lot of folks are talking about that, right? So
that's very significant.
There's a lot of variables at play here that make it very challenging to come up with an understanding, right? For me, it's keep up with the tooling, understand the perspective of my clients, put myself from an engineering perspective in the best situation from a skill and tool set perspective to go in, hands on keyboard and start doing things more rapidly to support their business as these tools continue to evolve.
I think it's very wise advice. And I think when you do look at it, which is why I think is a little bit of a punchy question, because there are two things that are sort of for sure in it. But one is that it's almost unknowable how these things are going to come together. You could have a shot at it. Sure, there's a diagram on a whiteboard that maybe shows how a few things come together. But then when you mix in the human factor and you mix in hybrid organizations and you mix a few of those things together, it becomes very unknowable very quickly. And then there's customer investment cycles that play into that as well. So you've got that on one hand. And then on the other hand, you've got a thing that I think everyone pretty much acknowledges is this technology is not just about making the existing move faster. It's about reimagining what is possible. So when you then layer all of that kind of washing machine of unknowability with the fact that we're trying to reimagine at the same time, I can't remember a more disruptive period.
Oh, for sure. When I was thinking about what I was going to do with the rest of my life, I thought about going to, Johns Hopkins or Emory and going pre-med. And then I, like any brilliant 18-year-old, looked at Moore's Law and said, everything's going to change every 18 months. Let's go do this. It'll be fun and wild. And then in 2022, that changed dramatically.
Yeah.
And it's not slowing down. It's speeding up.
Yeah.
Right? Because AI is augmenting the tools and solutions that we're providing to make our AI solutions and platforms even more effective, more efficient, right? So
Dead right.
So Dave, basically in your analogy, then the washing machine just speeds up faster and faster.
Like it goes on a spin cycle.
Yeah.
But it's like an endless spin. It's like an infinite spin cycle.
Yeah, we just need to put it in Rob's shed, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll find a place there for that. But yeah, there is something just completely fascinating about the point that we're at the moment as an industry. I joined tech because I'm sort of fascinated at the interface between technology and what it can do to human systems, more so than, say, the technology and tools themselves. And it feels like there's never been a more sort of massively challenging period around that interface than what we're in at the moment.
that's why I'm in customer engineering. Right?
Yeah, right.
I get to play with the tools, but I also get to speak to the people and understand the business needs and what the technical drivers are. So I get to scratch both issues, so to speak. Right? It's especially with where we're at today. It's exciting, right? I enjoy going and testing the latest tools and models that Google is providing to understand them, so I can bring them to my clients and provide that insight. Right? Google is a company that was founded on innovation. Right? In the pursuit of perfection, we make progress. And it's an incredible opportunity to be where we are today, just trying to seize that moment and take the most advantage of the opportunity that it's providing.
Now, time to get onto the more important subject, I think, which is this week, spurred on and inspired by a visit to Roadkill Grill on Monday when we arrived in town, which was quite a famous Vegas institution of a barbecue spot. We've been asking our guests this week about their perspective on barbecue, and that can be on one end of the spectrum. I find that I like to cook at home, and I love my big green egg. Or on the other end of the spectrum, it could be a place that you've had barbecue and the type of food that you like. So, what's your perspective on barbecue?
In my own home?
Anywhere you'd like.
Anywhere? I used to frequent Austin quite a bit.
Very
nice.
Texas
So,
barbecue.
here we go.
I used to go down and spend a lot of time with the Charles Schwab folks down there.
Right.
And I was sure to always get some barbecue in. So I always enjoyed it. At home, my wife does not eat red meat or pork. So it's kind of a restrictive diet, which I fully support. I understand.
Fair enough.
But I'm a burger and hot dogs kind of guy at home, right? I do most of the
Just
cooking.
the classics.
But I like to keep cooking simple, right?
Right.
It takes a lot of time to cook it. It takes a lot of time to clean up after it, especially with young kids.
I think though, it's not as easy as you might think to make the perfect burger, is it? Because it's a bit like the martini. So the martini is like, it's only got 2 ingredients in it. It's got vermouth and it's got vodka or gin. And the amount of bars that can't make a martini is just like absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Dave has been known many of time to send back his martini.
I have the same issue with
actually true.
Manhattans.
That is actually right.
Simple recipe.
These are
but-
the classics.
Yeah.
Know what a good one is. And I think the burger to me is a similar thing. Superficially, very straightforward. A bun with a patty in it. Yeah, exactly. I'm going there. A bun with a patty in it, some pickles, a bit of cheese, and some form of sauce. But the amount of places that get that wrong is quite unbelievable.
Well, you get mixtures of sauces, don't you?
So
All sorts.
I'm a simpleton when it comes to my burgers, right? I go get my ground meat,
Yeah.
but it's the seasoning, right? A little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion. I learned when I went to France, I was in Paris for work. I had a meeting with a large bank while I was over there. And I went to a steak restaurant and there were mustard packets on the table.
Right.
And I was with a French gentleman and I was like, this is a little odd.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, the mustard accentuates the flavor of the meat. Next time you make a burger at home, simple, put a little ground mustard on it and see if you like it.
That's a good tip.
A lot
So-
of
Okay,
people tell me that your burgers are great. And I'm like, there's nothing crazy to it.
We are clearly doing the British barbecue completely wrong, Dave, when we've got ketchup, mayo, mustard,
Over
burger
the top,
sauce. We
top.
completely overdone it. So,
Well,
mustard.
Marcel and I, this is a Vegas hot tip, hot off the press. Once we got out of work meetings last night, it was quite late, and we didn't want to go for like a big sit-down dinner type of thing. So we found a place. What was it called again? I don't know. Mic on? So
Really
you,
don't know.
you literally held up a picture of these things.
Yeah, but that was only the burger, Dave. So
Yeah, come on, find the name of it.
a simple
Anyway,
burger.
You'll find the name of this place in a second, but it's been established since 1962, and it's a really unlikely place. It's right out the back of the Strat. It's like almost like on the edge of a car park. It's super unlikely.
Those are always the best places.
Right, that's totally
Yeah.
true, isn't it? Roadkill Grill was like that too.
Stay tuned burgers.
No, it's the actual place. Honestly, man.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to do
while
this.
while they're looking
have to
this
do
up,
this
I've
myself.
actually had one of my best cheeseburgers at a place in London.
No.
Yeah.
Can you remember it? What the place was?
I can't recall the name. It was something like Rabbit and Hare, maybe. But it was near the brew house near Fitzgerald Park, I believe. My old employer had an office there, but I paid heavily for it because I was in London. But it was delicious. Like I went back the next night and ordered the exact same meal.
Right, I'm going to have to do some serious
I will-
Googling to
you
find
and
that
I
out.
will have to find this place for you so you can give it a
Yeah,
shot.
definitely.
So, we have done our research now, and the place is the Hard Hat Lounge. And in the Hard Hat Lounge, there is a franchise called...
Stay tuned burgers.
Right, now, super simple. It's like a single cheeseburger, double cheeseburger. That's all you can order. And like what they got right was the most perfect ratio between burger and bun. And it was a very particular type of bun. It was I think it was like a potato bun. Man, if you
Have
you
you got
like
a
a
picture?
burger,
Let's have a look at a picture.
go and give that place a try. It is worth an Uber there to
that
have,
looks-
and then an Uber
that-
back.
Oh, wow.
That looks
wow.
so good.
It
So now,
is.
can I ask the controversial question?
You certainly can.
Do you? There is a top and bottom bun, right?
Yes.
Theoretically, do you eat it with the top bun upward or on the bottom?
I go top bun upward.
Top
Mark.
bun upward.
Yeah, up.
Yeah. Does the bottom bun ever get soggy and fall apart on you?
Now, on a bad burger, it 100% does, right?
Why is it a bad burger though? Because it's juicy.
Over juicy sometimes,
okay,
maybe.
medium rare, medium, or well done.
I am probably in the medium well camp on a burger, I would say.
Or medium.
But he's what I would say with, if it falls apart, the bun construction needs a bit of work. So maybe a different bun is
bun.
required. Because on these burgers, the way it flattened down, it got to the end, it was like the most perfect. It was like it was a harmony.
That's a rare find. Those burgers looked very good.
And only $12, huh?
I mean,
That's
it's
magic.
It is
That's
literally magical. So yeah, that's the hottest tip. A hot tip. Go and give it a go. It's like literally, if you got an hour, Uber over there.
I'm going to have
one,
to go. I
Uber back.
missed out
Near the
last
store.
night, so I'm going to have to go.
I think it's a hot spot after the concert tonight, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
We're gonna go listen to Weezer, see Benson Boone jam out.
Exactly.
Then we're gonna go get burgers.
I mean, look at that. What a night. What a night. Now, on that note, last recording of the week. Good to see you, Cliff. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you for having me. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Want to deep dive into today's topics and what they mean for your business? Drop us a line at realitysremixed@capgemini.com. We're on LinkedIn, connect, DM, and send us your questions for future episodes. And hey, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us make the show even better. Big thanks to Cliff, our sound wizards Ben and Louis, producer Marcel, and of course you for tuning in. See you in another Google Reality soon.